Hello everyone, Amanda here. Thanks for joining me again. If you are new to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. There's a little red thingy here. I think you can do it there. I'd really appreciate it. Also make sure you hit that notification bell and go up to all and click all. And that's whether you're new or whether you're a returning subscriber, because sometimes YouTube will mess about with those settings. So today we're going to make faux vintage cabinet cards. Okay, you can buy them, but why buy them if you can make them? So I'm gonna show you a fake it when you make it version. So I'm using a cream coloured cardstock. You can use whatever. You can use white, tea dye, you can use anything, absolutely anything. Just use what you've got. All right, and we're gonna cut it. So this is an A4 sheet, European A4, paper is 8 1/4. So we're using the full length of that, and we're going to cut it to 3 3/4. I think American ones are slightly smaller, so just do the same, and you'll just have to adjust your size. Yours will just be a little bit smaller, but the principle's the same. So 3 3/4 wide. Okay. There we go. And then what you want to do is score each side at 1/4 inch. Alright, let me just get my scar blade, because in this trimmer it drops out. And I chase it across the floor. So 1/4 inch that way, and then just turn it around and do 1/4 inch the other way. It's just easier than me reeling off a load of measurements that some people don't understand. Okay, so just turn it around each way, 1/4 inch. Then you want to score it. If it's European cardstock, it'll be 5 7/8. If it's American, I'm not sure what yours is, but basically you're just folding it in half. So let's just fold it in half. Okay, it's a cabinet card. It's not a card going to your grey anti-flow, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. All right. So get your bone folder and fold and score those lines. Not fold and score, fold and burnish. Alright. Then what you want to do is cut away on one side, cut away both of those. Okay, now whichever one you cut away, so if it's facing that way, we'll cut the back away, the top section we'll cut away, and the bottom section here we'll leave it. So you can just notch there, okay, and you see, notch there and then cut all of that away. So that means now that the piece with the extra flaps at the side is your front. Okay, and the reason, let me just cut that score line away. So that now needs to be your front. Don't forget, this is now your front. Okay, because that's going to fold in and it's going to glue and it's going to attach there. Okay, and it looks neater if your fold is at the front and adding to the back than the other way around. Okay, so don't get them mixed up. And then do the same here. Okay, so if I just go in closer, just notch at an angle like that. So instead of going straight across there, we're going at a little notch. It just makes it less bulky and neater for you when you're folding it up. Okay, so then I'm just going to turn it that way because it's easier, and I'm going to cut that score line away. You don't want to be able to see any of that score line left when you've finished trimming. If you can trim it on your trimmer, fantastic. I can't, because I'm absolutely blind as a bat. I wear glasses with about 3 different prescriptions in them, and my hand-eye coordination's shocking. But you know, I have to get by, and I just adjust what I have to do. And if it means using smaller scissors and cutting very slowly so I've got control of what I'm doing, then so be it. So that is your basic shape. Okay, so don't forget, these flaps are attached to your front. So what you want to do now is you want to cut yourself a hull of some description. Now it can be anything. You know, you could have ovals, you can have absolutely any shape you like. I've chosen this one, I think it was this one. Yeah, which is that the one I used? Let me just check. Yes, it is. So this is just like an obviously rectangle, but with rounded edges. So this one measures, to give you an idea, if you don't have any dies that can do it, draw a shape by hand. It's fine. Okay, don't worry about it. So this measures 2.5 by 3 and is that 3.5? No, 3 and 3/8. So just under 3.5. Okay, and I'm just using what I've got. This is not a special die. I'm just literally using anything. If you've got oval shaped dies, that'll still look nice. It's fine. But you want, you know, rectangle or oval. If you had square in the middle, it might look a little bit odd. I kind of centralise it. I'll add some of my pre-loved washi tape on there, and then I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. I won't be a moment. Okay, so I've cut my my hole, as it were, so I'm just going to very carefully remove my washi tape because I really don't want it to tear my cardstock, but it might do because it quite often does. Oh, it hasn't done. Well done. Okay, so mine happens to be a stitched edge die. It's a dynamics die, so I'll save that and I can use that in my journal. Okay, so the other thing you want to do whilst you're cutting and you've got your bits and bobs out is cut yourself a card that's going to go inside. Alright, so this will need to measure, to go with my measurements that I've done, 3 1/8 by 4. Obviously if you're doing different sizes, adjust it to fit. You want it to fit in nicely, just leaving a small gap either side so it doesn't, you know, so that it's not a bind to get it in, as it were. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, obviously we're going to glue our card together. Where's my glue gone? Oh, it's here. Glue our cabinet card together. Alright, so sparing with the glue, you don't need loads. I'm talking to myself there, not you, because I'm very heavy-handed with glue. So add your glue. Okay. And then fold it over and attach it to the back. Okay. And I mean, you can make these out of anything. Anything. If you don't have cardstock, use cereal boxes, line it with book paper, you know, anything. You can use anything. Try not to get glue all over it like I just have. Alright. So that's your basic shape. So then, as I've said on previous videos when I've made things, the fun is in the decorating and the creating. This is just a nice size for in your journals. You can obviously make them whatever size you want, but this is just a nice size, and it is very similar to the Tim Holtz ones that you can buy. It's that kind of size, that's what I've based it on. So then what we want to do is I'm going to make my little card to go inside. So I've just got a vintage lady here, happened to be in my stash. I've backed her on card to make her even, because I printed it on copy paper. So I'm just going to attach that now to my card. Okay, and I'm going to centralise it because, you know, she's not the full. I'm just using what I've got rather than printing out another picture at a certain specific size. I'm using what I've got. So put that in there and centralise it. So you've got even space top and bottom and even space side to side. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because I think it looks nice but you don't have to, I'm just going to round my corners, and I'm using the smallest corner rounder that I've got, so that it doesn't look out of you know, so it don't look weird. Okay. That one's not quite right. Let me have another go there. That's better. Okay. Oops, it is. I'm throwing it away. Then I'm going to get my blending thingamajigger, my little blending brush, which I absolutely love, and I start off with tea dye, and then if I decide that I need a bit more darkness, I'll go around the edges again with vintage photo. Okay. Do the back as well. Rightio. So that's that done. I don't feel like that needs any further decoration, but you can if you want. So then I'm going to start and I'm going to decorate this one. Now I'm going to do my stamping first. So what you do is you shop your stash, okay? Have a look, go through your stamps. I used to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I've heaps of stamp sets, and I've picked this one because I've got this little border stamp. Have a look what you've got, and if you genuinely can't find a thin kind of decorative anything, it could be 1 inch wide and just repeat stamp it, could be anything. If you really can't find anything, then draw around it with a ruler and do 2 sets of lines, you know, like, so say this is a square, so say this is your square, just draw around with 2 lines in like a brown pen or something. It's fine, you just use what you've got. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use Archival because it's the only really nice vintagey looking brown one that I've got. So let me just put that on there. Plenty of ink on, and I'm not worrying too much if it doesn't marry up. You know, if it don't bend around the corners or the pattern doesn't match, it doesn't matter, because by the time you've inked it and everything like that, you're not going to notice it. Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay, oops, I blobbed on there, never mind. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the top. It's hard to stamp when you're filming because you can't get your head in. Okay, like I say, don't worry if it's not perfect, because when you look at the vintage ones online, they're not perfect anyway. Oops, dropped my stamp on it. And that one there, and then that one there. Okay, so what you can do is you can get your corner rounder again and you can round these off if you want. I did it on my sample and then I wasn't as keen, so I'm going to leave this one square. Alright, so then we're going in again with the Distress ink, and then I'm going to show you some extra finishing touches if you so desire. Okay, you don't have to, but just some little ideas that I come up with, I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going in with the tea dye. Okay, I need a bit of paper. Let me just slide that in there. I want to do that, I want to get that cut out bit there inked as well. Okay. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to go and do the back. I always go a little bit heavier on the corners to give it kind of like a round, I don't know why, it gives, in my mind it gives me a rounded shape and I like it. Right, so that's that bit done. Then what I also found, and I'm sure if you look in your collection of stamps you may well find some sort of label stamp. Okay, now on the back of a genuine cabinet card you've normally got the advertisement for the cabinet card maker, so the photographer. Obviously I've not got one of those. Maybe you could find one and print it out and glue it on, but here's another viable alternative. Okay, and I'm going to stamp mine with this fancy label, if I can stamp without dropping my stamp. There we go. And I've got this free in a magazine. So there we've got that stamp there. You could put the maker's name or the person who it is. Okay, so then what I'm just going to do is add a little bit of extra distressing. Then I'm going to show you some pretty decoration that I came up with. Mostly these are plain because back in the day when they made them, you know, they were an expensive item, so they might have gold stamping on, they might be plain, some of them were enclosed like little booklets with tissue paper over to protect them, but they weren't highly decorative. So adding decoration now is just something that I'm doing because I want to. So what I did was I stamped several different little elements and cut them out, and these are some little, actually little flowers, which are stamped in the archival. I also stamped some trefoils, but I think I prefer the flowers. And again, you could stamp with embossing ink and do it on black card with gold. That'd be a really nice idea. Maybe? Okay. So I want to just attach these. How did I want them now? Let me see. On that. So this is just a little bit of extra decoration. You don't have to do this bit. Okay. Alright. And let's have one at the other side as well, because I like things to be symmetrical. Come on! Spend my life shaking glue. I'll put that on there. Okay. Okay, and then we get our missus, our lady here, and slide her in, and you've got yourself a really pretty handmade cabinet card. Fantastic! How much fun are those? Go and make a heap and put them in your box of ephemera. Thanks for joining me. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!